SY Qureshi, a couple of points which I want to draw you into. One, how are we better off? You know, if this information is made available in the way that it will be or is supposed to be, people may start going away from electoral bonds because every party knows who's funding how much. Even if they don't reveal it, at least Congress knows that कि मुझे मिला कि नहीं मिला, maybe नहीं मिला. BJP knows अच्छा इसने दिया, हमें तो मिला नहीं, मतलब वहां गया. So they can do their own calculation regardless of whether it comes out in the public or not. Which basically means that a lot of these companies may revert to funding in black. They used to fund elections in black. At least it came into white. Now it will go back into black. How are we better off?
Yeah, quite right. Very well said. Before 2018, 70% of all the donations were in cash, and Election Commission and others were raising serious concerns about it. We are back to that situation now, but at the same time, there have been solutions on mentioned again now and again that instead of corporate funding of political parties, let us set up a national election fund.
No, but that's a different argument, Mr. Qureshi. I'm on facts, not on an idea. If the bonds are now disclosed, any big corporate which is funding boss, यार ये तो पता चल जाएगा किसको कितना दिया, मत दो. इसको black में ही दो. So we are back to black.
Let me come back to that only. You are right. It has been a partial success for ADR and others, because unless we know who is the donor and who is the recipient of that money, it doesn't really help. Now the whole nation will now be trying to connect the dots, who was the donor, so it is not leading us anywhere. And that was the problem with the original judgment itself. The Supreme Court never asked for that information from the SBI, and I don't know why SBI was delaying something which was already on their computer.
No, but also why should it be made public? That's the other point. Let's assume that XYZ person funds some party. You made a promise, sir. It's like, for example, voluntary disclosure income schemes, right? You made a promise when you took that money that you won't disclose my name. Later, you go and disclose how much I gave. That's like going back on a contract. That's like going back on a promise.
Let me tell you, this case has been in the court from the beginning. And all these donors who have donated have big law department. And they know once the case is before the Supreme Court, the result can go either way. For them to now plead innocence, look, we get donated because we were promised secrecy. They should have known that there's the case.
No, but then they'll all go back to black. They'll all go back to funding in black. So how is the election process better off?
No, wait. Rahul, which is why they will... No, I'm answering your question. They will go back to black, which is why I'm saying that there is an alternative route of curbing black money, and we should now look at that.
No, but that's a different, much larger point. We are here and now. There's an election, there's a reality, there's a situation at this moment. Your idea of an electoral fund is not, the problem with that is you never know whether it will be just that money or they'll take that money from the public exchequer and get their own money on the side. So that also may not be a solution.
So, no, but I don't know then what do you want to know from this case, because whatever I understood, I've already explained to you.
No, I'm trying to understand, and you're not at this moment at least being able to explain to me, how are we better off with this judgment? If we go back to elections being funded in black, how are we better off?
Yeah, we are not better off with this judgment in the sense, unless we know who is the donor, so that we can find the quid pro quo. We are not better off because we are not going to know that.
Okay, let Anjali Bhardwaj try and answer that. SY Qureshi agrees we are not better off with this judgment. Do you agree or disagree, Anjali Bhardwaj?
Look, Rahul, this was something that was debated in the court also. Before electoral bonds came, as citizens, we had no idea what was being donated through cash to political parties. But whatever was coming through the banking channels, we had information. What the electoral bonds did was that while cash continued, because there was, in fact, the Solicitor General said it in those many words, that cash has not stopped. This system has not stopped the flow of cash. But whatever was coming through the banking channel also through electoral bonds went behind a veil. So what the court has today done is that electoral bonds, which made a bad situation worse in terms of transparency, those have been stopped, and retrospectively, we will now know who was donating money.
No, but going forward, okay, retrospectively you will know, correct. But going forward, ma'am, you're not answering my question. People will not use this route because it cannot now be done. they will go back to donating in black. So how is the Indian election process better off is my question to you.
They were already donating in black.
Ma'am,
Even
but
with the
a part
electoral
of it was
bonds,
black, a
Rahul,
part of it was
and-
formalized. A part of it was
Yes.
in black, a part of it was formalized because ultimately the money that came in through the banking channels was known. It's a fairly substantive amount. Now, a lot of that will go back into black. So net we could be worse off.
Also, Rahul, your viewers should know that this was something, again, we are not saying, it was discussed in the court, that the government always had a way, and therefore the ruling party always had a way to know who was donating to whom, because all of this was being transacted through the SBI. So donors knew if they were giving to an opposition party through electoral bonds, that
March
that they were
2018 to July 2023, a total of 13,792 crore rupees were sent using these electoral bonds. My argument is that a large part of this 13,000 crore rupees in the future will go back to the black channels.
Rahul, they could also be just transacted through the banking channel. And what I'm saying is that we as citizens were not even being given information about what is happening through the banking
let
channel.
Sanju Verma respond to that. There is
Yes.
information asymmetry.
And also on your point of whether this should have been done, whether, retrospectively it should have been done. Section 7 of the electoral bond scheme is very clear, that there is anonymity till a competent court orders disclosure. All political parties have legal analysts. They would have told them that if any competent court, and this is the highest court of the land, if any competent court at any point orders disclosure, they would have to disclose.